We've got one bag of Merc Dimes, a bag of some older constitutional silver, and a bonus bag to hunt through today. Hey everyone, it's RobFindsTreasure and welcome back to my channel. Like I said in the intro, we have a 3-bag hunt today, and I'll get to these in a second. But I did purchase $130.50 in half dollars as well for my silver dealer. They were all of his available Walking Liberty half dollars, Ben Franklin half dollars, and Kennedy's. And I went ahead and hunted those off camera. Obviously, I wasn't expecting to find much in them, but these are the better coins, believe it or not. For that many half dollars, take a look at all of the 1917, 1918s, a few 1919 better dates, and some 1920 Walking Liberty half dollars. Now, they're in rough shape, but there's a couple of obverse mint mark 1917s in here. There's a 1917S obverse mint mark. But anyway, it was pretty cool seeing these. I mean, I paid 24 times face value, so I paid $12 a half, which is actually a pretty good deal, but I bought them in bulk. This is all of what I actually bought, $130.50 in half dollars, $12.25 in this what we call barber bag. It's all the stuff he puts aside for me, $23.40 in Mercury Dimes. And then because I spent $4 grand, and because he doesn't do much with copper and nickel stuff, he always saves all of the loose stuff he buys from either collections or whatever he has from albums and stuff that he purchases. And he said, Rob, I got all this. So he tossed it in at almost nothing. I mean, basically 2 times face value. So definitely got a good deal on that. I see that there's Buffalo nickels. I see Shield nickels. I see Liberty Head V nickels, Indian Head cents, you name it. So I'm excited to get in here. I also see a replated steel cent, but either way, that looks like a pretty fun bag to go through. So now that we've done the halves off camera, now that I showed you what was the best finds of the half dollars, it's time to go through the Mercury Dimes next. What I think I'll do is I'll dump these out, and then of course we'll sort them by decade, then by year, and see if we have any of the better dates. Outside of that, probably just add these to my stack as well. Let me get this set up, let me get that dumped out, and we'll start the search. So we've got $23.40 in Mercury Dimes, so basically 234 Merc Dimes to go through. I am not expecting anything fancy schmancy in here. If I have anything in great condition, obviously I will compare it to my personal collection. Let me go ahead and get these sorted by decade first, and then by year second, and I'll bring you guys back. We have got all the Mercury Dimes sorted by decade. These are going to be the teens. We've got the 20s here, all of the 30s, and of course a lot of 40s. And I went ahead and pulled out all of the 1942s separately because I'll be checking for the 1942 2/1s on both the Philadelphia and the Denver Mint. We did have one San Francisco Mint. I'll make note that I already checked all of the 45S's as I was pulling them out for any micro S's. Didn't see them. We only really inspected the 40s. I did see a couple of 1931s in here, so hopefully we have a couple of 31S's. We'll have to see. And then I did see some 26s, and I did see a couple of 16s, but we haven't checked for any mint marks on those just yet. I think what we'll do first is go ahead and bottle up all of these 30s and 40s because there's really no better dates in here except for I'll check for the 31s. After I do that, I'll scope all of the 42s. If I have anything worth mentioning, I'll bring you guys back. Otherwise, we'll move on to the 20s, and I'll give you a recap of that as well. Well, I decided to go ahead and go through all the Merc Dimes because it looked like we had somebody who might have cashed in a collection. It is missing the tougher dates, of course, but it definitely has some better dates. I didn't double check from 1934 and on to see if we had all the years and mints because they're pretty common, but based on the sheer amount of 30s and 40s we had, I'm pretty sure that we definitely had all of those dates. That being said, from 1916 to 1931, we're only missing a handful of coins. Of course, we're missing the 16D. I had 3 1916s in there. One had an S. Scoped it. Of course, it's not the Denver. We're missing the 1921s. Of course, those are a much better date. Don't have those. And we didn't have the 1927 Denver. Not much of a better date, but didn't have it. Again, we have every single one from 1916 to 1931S except for 1, 2, 3, 4 coins. And surprisingly, we had the much better date, 1926. Not in great shape, but San Francisco minted. So that's definitely a good find there. pretty good amount of Mercury Dimes. And if I had an extra Mercury Dime book, I probably would go ahead and start slotting them in there and then go back through the rest of the 30s and 40s and make a complete album besides a couple of coins. So definitely a really good find. Was not expecting that variety of dates and a much better date 26S. That being said, that concludes the Mercury Dimes. No real gem finds in here. Nothing in great shape. I think the 1931 right here is in pretty decent shape. It's not a bad coin. It's not a much better date at all, but it's still in decent shape with VF details at least. We also had that 31S, which is a pretty good coin. And then, of course, the best of the 31s would be the 1931 Denver, still worth about $5 or $6 in that condition. Let me go ahead now and put all of the Mercury Dimes away and move on next to my Barber bag to see if we have anything for the books or any better dates in there. It's not a big bag of older constitutional silver, but there is some older stuff in here that I like to look through. So hopefully, like I said, we have better dates. Just want to dump it out for you guys. We'll take a peek here in a second. Let me get it sorted by denomination type, and then we'll go from there. We have got the older stuff segregated. This is the Barber Dimes, the SLQs, the Barber Quarters, the Barber Half Dollars, and we did have a seated Liberty half dollar in there. It is an 1858-0. That's not a bad coin, but it has a lot of scratches on the back. It probably is only maybe VG details at best. Just a little bit of Liberty showing on the shield, but with the scratches, wouldn't get a grade anyway. And it's not one I would grade, but I will compare it to see if it upgrades mine because the front looks pretty decent. Haven't gone through the rest yet. Just wanted to point that out. I'm going to quickly run through it all, and unless I come across something great, I'll bring it back. Otherwise, I'll just give you a recap of what I found. Nothing fancy schmancy in the Barber Half Dollars. We did get 4 S-minted Barber Half Dollars, though. 15S, 12S, 5S, 1900S, and then 3 Philadelphias. They're in tough condition. No better dates, just nice seeing 4 S-mints. I'll move on to the Barber Quarters now. Well, definitely a tough lot of Barber Quarters, all common dates, mostly Philadelphia, a little bit better date 13D, but in that condition, it's coal. The best find of the Barber Quarters is going to be a really tough date, 1915 San Francisco. It's as slick as all get out, but still, with only 704,000 minted, it's definitely a decent coin. I think even in G4, they're about 20 bucks. This is probably not G4, but still, it's probably a $10 coin in this condition, and I'll definitely take that as a little bit of a bonus. Barber Quarters are done. Time to move on to the small stack of SLQs. Probably not going to find anything in that small stack, but we'll take a peek. If I find nothing, I'll get the dimes done, and I'll give you a recap of both of them. Nothing worth talking about in the SLQs. We do have a nice run of Barber Dimes from 1900 all the way to 1916. We have all of the Philadelphias. We have a handful of Denvers, and the only decent find is going to be the 1909-0 in absolutely rough shape, but it is a slightly better date, but not in that condition. So really pretty much nothing in the Barber Dimes. I don't think anything will upgrade my collection. There is a decent 1910 Denver. I'll definitely take a peek at that one and see if it upgrades, but it's a common date, so probably I already have it in better shape, but at least it's nice seeing a pretty decent one in the stack of Barber Dimes. That being said, if I have an upgrade, I'll bring it back and let you know about it. But outside of that, that's going to conclude all of the junk silver we had today. And overall, I was only buying it to add to the stack. And we did get a couple of better date coins, especially did well in the walking Liberty half dollars. We got that 15S. We got that 1858-0 and a few other coins that maybe might upgrade. And on top of that, we had a pretty good beginning set of Mercury Dimes. All right. Let me clear out the table, get this all the way, and we'll do the bonus bag that I'm kind of excited about to see if we have any goodies in there. You know what? That's a pretty good amount of copper and nickels. Let me go ahead and get it sorted, and we'll see what we got in here. And actually, did not know we had a couple of largies in here. I see one here and one here. And it looks like we have a pretty good mix of all types of goodies. All right, let me get them sorted by denomination, and then I'll be right back in a second. Well, that was definitely quite the bonus bag here. We have 2 large cents, 4 2-cent pieces, 4 Flying Eagle cents, 2 Thrickles, a Shield nickel, a bunch of V nickels, a nice handful of Buffalo nickels. We did get 3 steel cents and a 1917 Philly. I checked it for the DDO just in case, but no, it's just trashy. 44 Indian head cents that are not the fatties. And then we got 7 of the fatties from 1859 to 1864. And I'm definitely going to have to go through all those to see if we have any better dates. I just stacked them up by sets of 10. Of course, I pulled out the fat ones because I could see that they were in there. So definitely got some good stuff here. It's a common 1829 and 1839 large cent, and they're in really rough shape. So I'm just going to put those to the side. We had 3 1864 2-cent pieces. I already checked them to see if they're the large or small motto. Of course, they're the large mottos, the less valuable ones, and one from 1865. As far as the Flying Eagles, we had 1 1857 and 3 1858s. Of course, no 1856. Both 3-cent pieces here, the Thrickles, are 1866 common dates, and then it's an 1867 pretty beat up shield, but still nice to see. I think what I'll do now, since we've already covered these, is I'll go through the V nickels first and report back. Then we'll do the Buffalo nickels and report back, and we'll finish up with the Indian head cents. I'll be back after I got the V nickel sorted to see if we have any good ones. We have finished the V nickel sort, and actually a really good assortment of dates. We have all the dates from 1900 to 1912 Denver, except for 1908. It's a common year. Not sure why it's not in here, but we do have a good mix. We did have 2 1912 Denvers as mentioned. I did double check the mint marks next to the dot here on the left, and they both are definitely Denver mints. Still a better nickel with under 9 million minted, but in that condition, only maybe $1 or $2 more than the common ones. We had 2 nickels pre-1900, an 1891 with some environmental damage and an 1892 that's pretty slick. These are about $5 nickels in that condition. I'll double check them to see if they're better than the ones I have. I doubt it, but we do want to make sure. Now that we finished the V nickels and we did pretty good on them, I'm hoping to continue the good luck with the Buffalo nickels. I'll be back with the Buffalo nickel recap in just a second. We have finished going through the Buffalo nickels, and it was another nice assortment of dates. We did have 3 right here that have no mint mark and no date, and I could nick a date them, but I'm not going to do it for this video. It'll be too long. So 3 undated ones. We pretty much had a full common date collection here for most of the dates. I think we're only missing a 1931S, and then of course we're missing the better 27s, 26, 25, 24, 23s. We did have a really nice overall 1921 Philadelphia. It's not that much of a better date, but it's a nice coin, so definitely will help. We had a 1920 Philly and a nice 1919 Philly. Nothing older than 1919, unfortunately. And like I said, it's missing most of the better dates, but a good assortment of them for sure. I did double check the 35P for the DDR. I double checked all of the 37Ds and 36Ds for the 3.5 legs, or the 3 legs, and I also checked for the 2 feather varieties on all these and didn't see any. So no varieties, but like I said, the find of it's going to be the 1921 Philly, and the fact that we got a good assortment of dates, a pretty good hunt. I'm going to go ahead and roll these all up, and now it's time to move on to the Indian head cents and see what we got in there. And based on what I'm seeing, we could have a lot of pre-1900 ones and a good assortment of dates as well. I'll be back in just a second when I've got them sorted. Well, we went ahead and sorted the Indian head cents, and I'll tell you right now, we had quite the collection. Looks like someone popped out the coins out of an album, because we're only missing 11 coins. Of course, they're the better dates, but we're only missing 11 coins. We had 2 damaged ones in 1873 and in 1893. I could make out the dates, but we already had good or better ones down here, so I just kept them to the side. As far as the copper nickels, we had 2 1859s, 60, 61, 62, 63, and 64. When we get to the bronze, we had 64. Can't see if there's an L on the ribbon. 65. And then we go dark for 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, and 72. But we continue again with every single Indian head cent from 1873 to 1909, except for the key date 1877. We don't have any of the 08s, whether it's the 08 or the 08S, and we don't have the 09S. So we're only missing 2, 3, 4 coins from 1873 on. That is crazy. Now, some of the ones before 1880 are better dates, like the 73, 74, 75, 76, 78, and 79, but these are not in great shape, of course, so they're definitely not worth a ton. I thought it was odd that he had a couple in the bag from 1889. One's really nice, but it's hold. And then, of course, there's a couple from 1896, 97, 1905, and 1907. Outside of that, only one of every year represented. Crazy. So definitely looks like it was part of a collection book. I have not looked for varieties yet to see if we have something that's worth a little bit more. I'll do that here in a second, but man, I just wanted to bring you guys in and take a look at this. I definitely will compare all of these to my personal collection to see if anything upgrades. That is quite a nice starter set. I might offer it as a set. I don't know. Maybe I'll break it up. But either way, when you combine the Indian head cents with the fact that we're only missing an 1856 on the Flying Eagles, definitely feel like somebody cashed in, unfortunately, someone's copper collection. Let me go through them really quick, see if I have any upgrades or additions for my album, and I'll bring you back with a final look at what we got today and some final thoughts on this hunt. Well, I went ahead and went through all the coins. Nothing could upgrade my personal collection. I even took out most of the damaged stuff because obviously the damaged stuff I just put in one of my little coal jars. That being said, what a great junk purchase silver and hunt video. The bonus bag was definitely a good bonus. This is all of the good finds that we got today, including just some of the silver we added to the stack. I don't have pictured here the $130 minus these walkers and Benjis in the picture because I already put those in my perma stack. That being said, a good Buffalo starter set, a good V-nickel starter set, a great Indian head starter set. We got some nice Flying Eagles, some Thrickles, some large cents, 2 cents, seeded stuff. We got some older constitutional silver, a nice mix of walkers. Man, can't get mad at that. What a fun hunt for me today. Hopefully, you guys had just as much fun watching as I did going through it. If you did, I definitely would appreciate that thumbs up. And as always, everyone, happy hunting, happy stacking, and thanks for watching.